I'm Becca.
And I'm Caitlin. And this is
The Penfriends
podcast. Alright, cool. I think we got it. Cool.
Oh my god. I love everything right now.
Yeah, so, YouTube's fucked. And if they take away the sub box, which is the huge thing, that's been going on lately.
Well, they're not taking away the sub box from my understanding. They're just not going to wow, can I talk? They're not going to be showing your subscriptions in chronological order.
Which is
anymore.
what every single other social media has done. And I want to know what wise guy went around like a solicitor salesman with their Avon box and said, hey, guess what, guys? This is an idea all of us should do because everyone's going to love it. Like, people have complained about Instagram. People complained about Twitter. Why is YouTube thinking, like, this is a great idea?
I guess I just haven't been, like, very big into, like, Instagram or Twitter until now. Twitter doesn't really bother me unless I'm, like, scrolling and then all of a sudden I'm like, wait, I just saw this, like, 5 minutes ago, but really it's from, like, a month ago or whatever. Now I feel like the next thing after YouTube does whatever, the sub whatever, they're going to somehow figure out how to do, like, YouTube stories.
I mean, you can do polls and, like, posts on YouTube. Like, a lot of YouTubers I watch do posts where you can, like, respond to it.
I hate that.
Yeah, I don't like, it's not, God, we just need we need the people to make, like, one super social media and just do all of it. Because
people are speaking out because YouTube was like, we've looked at whatever research they're looking at and discovered that, like, this is what the people want. This is what you guys want. And everyone is like, no, we don't want it. And they're like, yeah, you do. So
I am thankful that I watch a pretty good variety of content on top of the content I watch the most. The second tier content that I watch is, like, the bingeable stuff, but, like, anything I subscribe to usually has come to me and, like, what am I trying to say? I'm not missing anything because a lot of people think, and probably it does happen that if you stop watching a person, that they're just going to disappear from your box. Like, you're subscribed, but you're not interested in this. You better hit that bell. But, I know we were talking about H3H3, but I didn't even know that the bell notifications even have steps. Like, do you want them all the time or occasionally? I just want whoever is posting, whenever they're posting, just to show up in my feed. And my feed gets flooded.
That's why I subscribe to their channel.
Right,
because
exactly.
I want to see everything that they are posting.
Right.
Everything.
Exactly.
Otherwise, I might not watch it all as soon as it's posted. But for the most part, I watch, like, just about, well, not everything, because I'm subscribed to a lot of people, but enough to get, like, the gist of what's going on each week.
And that's why I follow the people I follow, because I want to know what's up with their lives on Instagram, on Twitter. Twitter isn't as bad. Like, they do this is something you might have missed. And I'm like, okay, then I missed it. No FOMO. Twitter's afraid of FOMO, the fear of missing out. It basically is what Twitter is over here doing. But yeah, I just think, I think that that's going to be a really bad move on their part, especially with everything that's just been going on lately. And I think it's going to be a really big hit on small creators. The smaller creators are not going to be showing up in subfeeds.
As if they weren't shitting on us enough already. Like, here's something else.
Speaking of
just going to do everything.
Yeah. On the small creators, congrats on hitting 800 subscribers on your booktube.
Thank you. I worked really hard for that.
You have worked really hard for it. And now that Becca's hit 800 subscribers, I think Josh and I are going to make a combo channel somehow. You told
Josh
me.
is still, like, fighting me to make a channel. He was supposed to do that 300 subscribers ago. But
Now
we're just
that
forgetting about that.
now that you're at 800 subscribers, will you finally tell your fans that you do a show in long form with your friend?
Yes!
My mom, I was talking to her because I was texting you about it, and I was like, oh, Becca hit 800 subscribers, and we do our show, and I joked, I was like, I think it gets 4 views each week, and 2 of them are me and 2 of them are Becca, and she's like, oh, well, she has a lot of people who watch her YouTube, does she say anything on their channel? And I'm like, no.
I forget. Sorry. Okay, I
I'm
need
just
to
gonna do
go
it.
and update, like, my description or whatever, because
Mm-hmm.
then I won't have to worry about linking it. And I'm going to put it nice and big at the top because I don't do anything else on social media.
Yeah.
And this show is very important.
Oh yeah, so
It is,
important.
for real.
I was going through the lists of our names. I found that the other day. Let's see. Do you want me to read this note?
Sure.
This is because there was something written at the bottom, and I don't think it was related, but it was still a part of the note. Hold on. Okay, here we go. So we had like the classics, like Awake and Alone. And
Yes.
part of me now going into it likes the name No Postage Necessary, but I love the Penfriends podcast too. But then at the bottom of this list, I have Aggressive Vaginal Pursuit. And that was definitely not a name we came up with, but some reason it's listed in this list of podcast names we liked. Definitely was not a name we were considering, but I was just going through my notes today. I found some quotes
Oh
from you
my
too.
God. Oh yeah?
I found quotes, but I have too many notes on here. Oh, I found our Claude Meowne, Pablo Picasso, Michelangelo, Leonardo da Vinci's. I found that note. Anyway, I take a lot of notes. It's a way for me to, like, remember stupid stories my friends tell me, or anyway.
Yeah, totally.
Or Aggressive Vaginal Pursuit, which is the name of my new metal band coming 2018.
Yeah. That is everything. We should change the name to that.
What would we talk about then? We just talk
Stuff.
about girls
Things.
for a full hour. We just talk about how pretty girls are.
Yeah.
What else did we want to talk about YouTube? Because you said, oh, we were going to talk about YouTube this episode, but I only remembered, like, the big thing happening with the subfeed and their announcement with that.
Well, we were going to talk about Shane and Bunny's collab.
Oh, that's right. Yes, because I watched
And
that.
everything that is going on with Bunny since then, which is basically just me, like, patiently awaiting for her to upload. But she's really sticking to, like, one video a week now.
Yeah, she has been uploading. I've been somewhat keeping up to date. I think I actually did finally subscribe to her, and I subscribed to the Shane channel where he did all that, because that is his main one now. It was the secondary channel, but he does a lot of content on there. And I have been binge watching a lot of Shane, and I did the vlog series that was leading up to the Bunny series, like their whole, like, first class flight,
Going to Texas or whatever,
and doing all that. And I really like that group of people. They're very entertaining, but they're very honest.
I told you.
Yeah, it was a very, like, this is not at all the Shane Dawson I remembered from 2008, where he was doing all this crazy stuff on all these sketches, and he made his movies and short films and stuff, and I'm like, and he was straight, and like, and I'm like, it was a very refreshing content, and I love all his friends, and
I know.
I really relate to Morgan on a spiritual level.
Right? She's so stinking cute. I like Morgan.
I just really like all of them. The babies scare me, but I accept him because that's just part of their aesthetic.
Benjamin is just a part of the squad now.
Right, exactly.
But Tyler is too, but, like, I don't know. Tyler makes me nervous because they got Tyler for a video when Morgan, like, first moved to LA, because, like, they were really considering having her be their
surrogate.
Surrogate for their kid. And I'm like, is this, like, a real thing that's going to be happening, or is this just for I don't know, to have fun with friends. It made me uncomfortable. Because I'm
No,
like, I
yeah,
don't know what is happening.
I saw that in the feed. I didn't watch that video yet. But yeah, no, specifically talking about the bunny collab. Um, I think it really. I don't even do YouTube, and it put a fire in my belly about doing just creating content and doing things
Mm.
that I like to do and being earnest and sincere about it and really putting a lot of love into it, which was the whole point of the whole thing was to
Yeah.
revamp and and reignite Bunny's passion. And it did a lot for a lot of different YouTubers, and I saw some videos pop up in the recommended about people's responses and how they felt after watching that whole collab. And you told me you felt that way too.
Yeah.
The part that made me mad was when Garrett pranked them, and I know it was out of, I like sincerity. Not sincerity. That's the wrong word. You know what? It was a joke, and he didn't mean it maliciously. That's the opposite of sincere. But I was just like, oh, come on, man. Like, you just listened to her talk about this creepy doll that lived in her house and how she doesn't fuck with that shit anymore, and you still decided to pull that prank. And we had talked about it a little bit. You
I
know,
just feel like he had such a long time to be like, sorry, that was me. And he didn't. Like, he let it go on and on and on.
yeah,
And, like, part of that is just, like, Garrett being Garrett.
yeah.
Because that's just, like, how he is. Like, he is so awkward.
Mm-hmm.
It's crazy. But and I felt like I would have been like Bunny. Like, I would have been so uncomfortable.
Yeah.
I would have shut everything down because that's like the level that I'm on with it. But I did think that it was funny that as soon as they're like, oh yeah, it was a prank, and he replicated it, the dog man was like, oh hell yeah. And Josh was like, that's me. And like Josh would have been, and I'm like, wow, that's
um,
everything.
yeah, no, it's just seeing Bunny be so uncomfortable because she just, in the earlier episodes and earlier that day when they arrived, she was already such in a vulnerable spot with talking and opening
Mhm.
up about all of this stuff that to go around and pull that kind of prank, and she was fine with it. There was no malice on her end, she was fine after that, and once she figured out it wasn't real, I just was like, come on, dude. But now that I watch like more videos with him in them, I'm like, all right, I understand where Garrett's mindset was and that he was trying to lighten the mood in a way, but it just didn't come across. Again, it didn't come across. And so as
No,
a viewer,
it is kind of funny though because Garrett, on a side note, just is doing like a series of videos now
mm-hmm.
where he like stole Post Malone's bike and then snuck into Coachella with Andrew and Jess, what's his name? Jesse Wellens from Prank versus Prank. He
Oh, I
used
don't
to
watch prank
be
videos.
on the channel Boyfriend versus Girlfriend, I
uh,
think, which was
Maybe
like
that sounds familiar.
way back in the day. And the one thing Garrett asked him was, have you ever done a prank where you pretended to be a ghost, but you weren't really a ghost? And I'm like, Garrett, let it die. Like, let it die.
Oh man, I liked when he got they both him and Rylan both and got probably really expensive nails when they got to Texas when Morgan was getting, and then that night they like ripped them off, and I was like, I
Well,
screamed.
Ryan still had his,
Yeah,
but Garrett was
Garrett
like,
just,
I'm done.
I was like, that's what happens when you get claws. But I loved everything. I was surprised at how many locations they were actually able to film in. You know what I mean? Because
Mhm.
I always fear like
Yeah.
anytime I'm vlogging, like if
Well, did you see the drama with the Ulta employees?
no.
Like that girl got fired.
What? I didn't know that.
Mhm. Yeah,
Why?
that girl got fired for a couple of reasons. First, they made it out to seem that because like everyone loved them, they loved her. I don't remember what her name was, and the guy whose name was Darius.
Mm-hmm.
And like people would call the Ulta and like ask to make appointments and like ask specifically for them.
Oh.
So, and specifically for him even more than her. And so she like wrongly said that he didn't, or she said on social media that he didn't work at Ulta anymore or something, but like she wasn't supposed to say that. And
Oh.
then also tried to be like, well, no, it's because she said that their store is like in the gay area or something like that, and that's insensitive or whatever. So yeah,
Oh.
I was
Okay.
like
I
for
mean,
all of this stuff.
yeah. I mean, she probably was she wrong? Probably not. But like, yeah, I can see how that could be, insensitive.
I feel like they're grasping at straws to like
Oh,
get
I'm
her
sure.
out because whatever. But then like James Charles and Jeffree Star and like all these big YouTubers were like tweeting at Ulta and saying like we filmed in there all the time and no one has ever said anything. Like the employees are always super cool. Like you need to give this girl her job back because that is wrong.
Yeah.
And I don't remember what happened with it. But yeah, that was like at first I thought it was a joke, like, oh, the Ulta girl got fired, and no, she really did though.
Did he? So if Darius was still working there, did he get fired, or was he really not?
He moved on.
He actually did move on because I want his shirt
Yeah,
line. If Shane helps him
he
sponsor,
doesn't have a shirt
oh,
line.
not yet.
No,
No. Well, if Darius ever gets a shirt line, I'll be the first to buy that.
me too.
Shit over it.
I'll be the
Yeah.
second though. Yeah,
I'm quicker on the
shit over
I'm quicker on the internet draw than you are.
it.
It's your computer. Oh
Yeah,
no, you have
probably.
computer problems. I actually have computer problems too. My dream this summer is to save some money and birthday money and to actually buy like an actual gaming hardcore desktop and like build it.
Mhm.
And by me build it, I
Yeah.
mean Jeremy build it. But
Right.
yeah, no, because it'll just be easier to do all of the things that I already do and to save this laptop for like little things and not like for destroying it playing World of Warcraft, but for
Yep.
emails, just little things.
I only use my laptop for recording the podcast
Oh,
now.
yeah.
I use the desktop for
Yeah.
everything.
Like, I would love to be able to use Adobe Premiere, but will Adobe Premiere work on this laptop? No. Nope.
No.
I have to, like, sit my computer up overnight to even render the show. Because it just takes a
Yeah.
really long time. Which I don't mind, because I'm sleeping. But, I used to do it during the day, and it would take, like, 7 hours. I was like, alright, no, I can't. Can't do that anymore. Yeah.
Wow.
Anyway, so I'll give updates if I get a cool computer. But the problem is that they come in like black and like acid green and like a Mountain Dew red and like all of these other weird colors. Like, but I want
Get the one, because our tower, you can change the color
the for
of it.
what? What kind of computer do you have?
I don't know what kind it is, but the tower has like the tempered glass on the side so you can see the like inner
Oh, okay.
workings. And it's lit inside there, and you can change the
Oh, with the
color
lights. Yeah.
of it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's black, but like right now I have it on blue
Mm-hmm.
or whatever.
Yeah, I would do the lights.
Hmm.
They also have like Jeremy, that's all we watch lately is like on his YouTube, it's all like computer building and computer review videos and like specific gamers playing games. And like there's a liquid cooling systems you can put in which are just like tubes of water that like cycle through. One,
Mm.
I was like, why is that a thing? Because I feel like you wouldn't want liquid anywhere near that expensive stuff. But he said if it was secure enough that it looks awesome, especially when it's lit, and two, it actually does a lot to cool the computers. Hi, welcome to the
Interesting.
Penfriends podcast. We talk about computers now. So I want a clicky clack keyboard. That's what I want. Anyway, um, so moments before we started recording, I showed Becca a really specific Twitter, and the Twitter is Mondo Mascots, and she is over it already. As she was shaking her head, she's like, "What's going on?"
I don't understand what's happening, but also I followed that Twitter.
Oh, you already followed it?
I can't stop looking at it.
Oh. So Mondo Mascots is a Twitter that chronicles the weird and wonderful world of Japanese mascots from the front lines of Tokyo. And that is direct from their Twitter bio. And
Yeah, that's
they take a lot of
crazy.
pictures and video of the crazy Japanese suits and mascots that are for literally everything in Japan and can be of anything in Japan. And we were going through some, and the creativity here is just amazing. I mean, you can combine anything and it can be a really cool mascot. And the quality of the suits for some of them are really intriguing. Like, some of the shapes that they create with these suits,
Yeah.
you know. Like, knowing what has to go in to, like, actually make them, they're pretty high quality. But I brought
Is
this
this
up.
like from companies though, or just random people doing it?
No, like these are like Mickey Mouse suits, go out into
Oh,
Disney and like to promote
okay.
Disney, like these
Yes.
companies make these suits and mascots to promote their company or their city because some of them are for cities or
Hmm.
districts specifically. But I wanted to. Do you see where this is going? Do you see where I'm going with this? Yet?
No, I'm scared.
I want to discuss ideas for Michigan mascots.
Okay.
So I feel like the mitten is pretty like obvious. It's the obvious choice. But like is the
Right.
mitten the head and then he has like a normal body?
I think that the mitten itself is the body and the UP is the head.
Oh, okay. So is he just the mitten and the UP or does he have like hands?
I think it would look a little ridiculous if the mitten had hands.
I mean,
Because it,
we can go all out with this. There's no limitations at all.
but if he has hands, does he have tiny mittens on his hands? Like, is it just a mitten
Infinite
creature?
mittens. It would be I think so. I mean, he at least has to. The character needs to pose with children. He needs to have access to legs, so he needs to like bend to get down to children's height. But
Yeah,
yeah. So would it be like a plain mitten? It would have to be a plainer mitten, so it'd be like nice and fluffy with no detail.
sure.
Would it have like a
Yeah.
So what kind of face would it have though?
I don't know.
Probably really
I haven't
friendly.
thought that far into it.
I was also toying around with the idea of like I'm trying to think of like Michigan companies, like Fago. If Fago had a mascot, what would Fago's mascot be? And I feel like it'd be
Uh,
like a collection of colorful bubbles to represent all of their
oh,
pop.
that would be cute.
Like carbonation
See,
chan.
you're good at this. You'd be really good at designing all of the different mascots. Would each city have its own mascot?
Ideally, yes. So what would Grand
Okay.
Rapids mascot be?
Well, Grand Rapids has a lot of like breweries, so I feel like it would be just like a cold glass of beer.
Yeah. Would he be like
We're very hipster. Or we have our like iconic blue bridge, so maybe it might be a blue bridge.
oh, okay. And it could be like a two-person mascot, like a Campbell situation. One end of the bridge and the other end of the bridge.
Or the colder, because we have the colder in Grand Rapids too. Hmm.
And then Art Prize would have its own mascot, like its own separate mascot.
Yeah, for it to walk around at
Yeah.
Art Prize events.
I'm trying to think. I don't know what Howell. I don't know what my town would have. Melons. Oh, we have a melon fest where the Howell melon is like a really well known thing. We
Really?
grow like a cantaloupe, like a orange
Hmm.
melon, and but it's the Howell melon, and we make ice cream out of it, and we celebrate it every fall. So I feel like it would be
That is so interesting.
yeah, no, you should come down for it because it's really fun.
I would love to.
Yeah. So I feel like the melon would be it would be like, it wouldn't be half cut open. Oh, maybe it would be half cut open. Yeah, so it's half cut open, so the face is orange and the back is like rounded, and it's the
Yeah.
outside of the melon, and then the face is like really tiny on the inside in the center where the seeds would be.
Aww.
And
That is
then
so cute.
she's wearing, it's a girl melon, and then she's
It's a
wearing
girl. Well, if
um
it's a melon, it has to be a girl.
maybe she's on the phone and she's like a CEO. It doesn't relate.
A business melon?
Yeah, CEO Melon, that's the mascot for Howl.
Oh my god.
I'm trying to think of others.
That's so funny.
I think we got some pretty good. I think we should go to Michigan. The state of
I
we
think
should go to the state of Michigan and just pitch these.
I think we should.
I think it would be effective. I could
We
go to like
could
the
get
Howell
this
City
going.
Council and be like, "All right, guys, commission me to make this mascot for Melon Fest. It's CEO Melon." And she'll
CEO
be
melon.
great.
I don't
She'll
know
bring
if
in
they would be on board with the name, but
Well, it's not like we have any sort of like cultural significance. Like when you think of Holland, Michigan, and you think of, you know, this European look because they have Tulip Fest and it's like Germany over there and they got all the windmills. Howell doesn't have that. We're just all white, but like no cultural significance really. It's just an old town. Maybe. Oh wait. Okay, this is my
would
favorite
it be
part
a
of
melon in like a powdered wig? Because it's like an old town.
President Melon. We have President Melon here. The melon is versatile. That's the name of the podcast. The melon's versatile. But like the melon is like Barbie, in which she can just be whatever she wants to be, live her dream. Every year she changes occupation, and boom, done. All of your melon dreams are reality.
What's the melon gonna be this year?
Yeah.
It'll be like an unveiling every year.
But then, like, when it gets to be 40 years of the melon's birthday, like, one year she just has, like, a crisis and she comes out in pajamas. And, like, she doesn't know what she wants. Then the next year, you know, she's gone back to school.
And then, like, one year she's, like, a stay-at-home melon. With her little...
We could have, like, kids be baby melons.
Yeah, little baby melons.
I'm gonna go and pitch this. I'm serious. I really am.
You need to.
I think so. There were some other things I wanted to talk about.
You texted me something that you wanted to talk about, but I don't remember what it is.
I remember what it was. Because you said that. I did text it to you. Alright. So here's my thing. I know you don't watch a lot of movies. But you read a lot of books.
I remember.
And this, I think, can be applied to books as well, and other media, and I think, like, you know, TV shows, etc., whatever. But is there a place for bad or poorly executed originality? Because I was thinking, I went to see the Han Solo movie, obviously a Star Wars movie, so it's a spin-off of the Star Wars line, and it tells Han Solo's young self story. It was a decent movie, but that wasn't the point. The point was the trailers. And Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson is in, like, every movie these days. He's the new Kevin Hart, who was the new...
He's very trendy.
Right. It's a very, you know, I liked him in Moana and some other movies, but very talented person. And he's done some sequels, like he was in Jumanji 2, which was a sequel to the original Jumanji. But he's also in some original movies. He was in, the new one that's coming out is about his family is stuck in a skyscraper that was taken over by bad guys. Yeah, exactly. So an original plot, quote unquote, you know, it's an action movie. And then he was in Rampage, which is the big monster movie, based on a video game by the same name. Original movie. No one's made a Rampage movie since the game, you know. So on the other end of that spectrum of original movies coming out that are objectionably bad or good are sequel movies. You know, we have new Star Wars movies because Disney bought it and wanted to make more money. We have the Star Wars side stories. We have Ocean's 8 coming out from the popular Ocean's 11 franchise, but this is with all women. And then we have the Ghostbusters movie came out with all women. I mentioned those two for a specific reason I'll get back to in a little bit. So I guess, does Hollywood keep making these sequels because they know it's just going to make money? I guess I just answered my own question, because I think, yeah, I think they're just making these sequels because they know they'll make money.
It's also just like, it is frustrating though, because, and I mean, I noticed that like way long ago. So we must go through these phases where like a lot of sequels come out, and then we get like more original content, and then they run out of that, so more sequels come out. Because I remember thinking about that like years ago, and then I just stopped watching movies because I'm like, why is it nothing but like sequels, or like the fifth installment in a series, like with The Conjuring or whatever, and there's like however many of the, or Insidious, I mean, there's like four or something of those, and I'm like, there did not need to be that many. But I mean, usually book series can be a little bit different, but there's still like those series where it's like, wow, did there really have to be another book to that?
Yeah. Could it have ended sooner? Probably.
Mm-hmm.
But, you know, we had the whole phase with... We had the vampire phase when it came to books, with Twilight coming out, and that pioneered that. And then we had the Hunger Games come out, which then pioneered Divergent or Maze Runner
Dystopian.
and the
Mm-hmm.
apocalyptic teen romances.
Sure.
And so I'm like... So I'm sitting there and I'm like, maybe this Dwayne The Rock Johnson movie about the skyscraper and him being all action hero-y, climbing up the skyscraper to save his family, will be good. And I'm optimistic about all of these movies that come out, and like, wow, now there's something in my eye. I can't win. I'm optimistic about movies that aren't sequels because I'm hoping that they're good and that Hollywood will realize, wow,
Yeah.
we should give these people who are writing original scripts a chance instead of just relying on sequels the entire time. Because
Mm-hmm.
I love the Ocean's 11 movie. I really do. And I'm excited to watch Ocean's 8 because of the people who are in it, and they're all women. But I would have loved to have a heist movie with a group of women that didn't necessarily have an Ocean's 8 title to it. You know what I mean?
Sure.
I would have loved to...
I'm not like super familiar with the whatever that series is. Josh is excited to see Ocean's 8, but I couldn't help but feel the same way. Like, why does it have to be this? Why can't it just be like an all female heist movie
Yeah,
that's something
it could
different?
still have the same cast. It could still have the same
Mm-hmm.
concept, but their selling point is that she's like a relative of George Clooney's character or something like that, I think, and so they're tying it into the original,
Mm.
you know, the original series, and that's what's their selling
That's
point.
stupid.
And like the same with the Ghostbusters movie, like, yeah, the Ghostbusters. I haven't seen the new Ghostbusters movie with the female cast.
I didn't.
And it's not because I wasn't interested in it. I just, and like, I'm not into Ghostbusters that much in general.
Mm-hmm.
But I would just love to have more women being in movies and like having all female casts without them having to be sequels or spin-offs or anything like that. You know what I mean? Like, I'm excited for Crazy
Yeah.
Rich Asian. Have you seen the trailer for that? It's
No.
basically all Asian cast, and basically this this couple get engaged, and she goes to his home country where his family is from, and he's basically like one of the richest families in, like, I want to say Singapore, but like crazy rich, and he's like a prince over there. It's crazy, not a real prince, but like,
Oh my gosh, that's so
but it's comedy,
funny.
and it's like trying to get
That's
the
gonna be
families to
good.
right, exactly. It's a cast with all POC, all Asian actors, and like, it's an original idea. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
it's an original movie, and I'm really excited for it. I'm excited to see it. Um, but then there are also some like really bad original movies or adaptations of things
Mhm.
that come out. Like like Valerian wasn't the greatest movie. It's based on a comic. It had Cara Delevingne in it.
Oh.
No, that doesn't. It's
Hmm.
okay. She's a model. She's got nice eyebrows. Anyway, Valerian was an okay movie. It could have been better, but it wasn't bad. And I was like, all right, cool. You're doing a comic that isn't Marvel or DC. Brilliant. So let's move away from that for a little bit. I like those movies, the Marvel ones more than the DC ones, but like we
Mhm.
could just take a break from all of that right now and just focus on other
Yeah.
content. So that's what I felt when I went to the movies. I was like, all right, okay, I'm being hypocritical because I saw a Star Wars story movie in the theater, but like I just want a lot of original content. And that's how I am. Anyway.
Yeah. I mean, I kind of had like the same ish thought, not like I said. I mean, with book series and whatever, but there's still like ones that get released. Like I just finished the sequel to Simon versus the Homo sapiens
Mm-hmm.
agenda, but it's from his like best friend Leah's point of view. And I couldn't help but think like the whole time, like, did this book really need to be written? Like, I love the Simon verse and everything, but like this, it didn't add anything to the characters. It felt like the author was trying too hard. And for the life of me, all I could think, and I'm sure that it was being written well before the movie
Mm.
came out or whatever, but I could not stop myself from thinking, like, if we hadn't gotten a Simon movie, would the sequel have come out? Like, is that
Yeah.
something that would have happened?
True.
So I think that a lot with um like when books get made into movies. I'm like, oh my gosh, now like what the heck is this going to ensue? Like with Fantastic Beasts and all of those, I'm like, okay, I think that like I love Harry Potter as much as the next person, but I think that the wizarding world like needs a break. Like we need to just kind of be done
Well,
with
and
it.
I hear this argument though from a different podcast that I listen to. He's a really big fan of Harry Potter as well, and he's like they introduced Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them, but the next movie isn't about like the movie wasn't about beasts. It wasn't about him finding the beast like people thought
Mm-mm.
it was going to be. It was introducing the Gandalf, different wizard, the Dumbledore and Grindelwald, you know, conflict.
Yeah.
And don't get me started on the whole Johnny Depp is Grindelwald thing, but um uh yeah, it just was this like I think it was so much success and the movies were so much success. Now there's the theme parks, and now there's a game, and now there are board games and all of this stuff. I'm sure there's a lot of
Mm-hmm.
a lot of other stuff related to it, but like if it hadn't been that successful, I don't think she would have even written the play. You know what I mean?
No. Well, she didn't
Um,
write the play.
that's a good point. You're right. People wouldn't have written the long. Did you know the longest running fan fiction ever started out as a Harry Potter fanfic, and now it's crazy. I'll
Oh,
find you some of it. It's pretty insane.
I had the thought, this is like a random thought, not really, because in that sequel that I was reading, she like she doesn't still write fan fiction, but she still reads
Mm-hmm.
fan fiction, and there's like a super minor plot point where they're trying to find like Simon's old fan fiction that she thinks she's like 90% sure that he had to have written like this really specific type of fan fiction. I don't remember what
That's
it
so
was
funny.
for. And they like find it. But in the margins, I was like flipping through because I annotate my books. And I didn't have any tabs,
Mm-hmm.
like sticky tabs. So after I finished it, I was flipping back through to see like what I was marking along the way so I could tab it. And like really big in one of the margins, I wrote, "Is fan fiction even still relevant? Like that is that
Yes.
even a thing? It's
Yeah.
still like a big thing."
Oh yeah.
Hmm.
Uh,
Interesting.
Specifically in the K-pop community, if you want some insight, because I used to be a big.
Okay, listen. BTS is like kind of blown up, and I almost feel like it's getting a little much. Like
Okay,
people
let's
are
move.
going freaking crazy for BTS,
Yeah, let's move to this.
and
Do you
I
want to
mean
move to
like
this? Because
it's
I could
well
talk about this for
deserved.
hours, and you know that. Um,
It's well deserved, and I just wondered like if you had any thoughts on it because I'm at the point where I'm like, wow, like people can tone it down a little bit because it's not like they're new; they're just
right.
newly discovered.
Yeah. So they had the fans say that like 2015, I think, was like the turning point for them in Korea. And they had won their first award from one of their music shows, which means they topped Korean charts enough to win awards that week. And so that was like their big breakthrough, and that was the turning point for them in Korea. They had been around since like 2013 in Korea,
Mm-hmm.
and Western fans, has small kind of thing. Like, not a lot of Korean groups toured in the U.S., and if they did, it was very select countries, only select cities, and select countries. They never go to Europe, and they have just now started going to South America, and it was kind of a nicher thing. Like, you could find pretty decent groups of Western fans, but like, oh, I would dream about going to Korea and seeing a concert of theirs, and it wasn't well accessed. I think BTS grew a lot. Not this, not
Yeah.
the Billboard Music Awards that just happened, but the previous one, because they were up for Social Artist, and I think that they were starting getting recognition through that, because of the sheer amount of Twitter followers they
Mm-hmm.
have. And I'm pretty sure, if you give me a moment, because I have Twitter open, they have. Oh, hold on a second again. 14.9 million followers
That's
on Twitter.
crazy.
So obviously people started to notice that this, you know, people in America were like, these are huge people, people are tweeting at them, they're getting millions of likes, all this stuff. They have this many followers on Twitter. They're up there with Ariana Grande and
They're
Justin
big.
Bieber,
Yeah.
and following. And America's like, who the fuck are these guys? And that's when they got to Billboards last
Yeah.
year. They won Top Social Artist, first K-pop group to win a Billboard, and
Mm-hmm.
so that just kind of further pushed them into the Western eye. Now they are, they had their world tour last year, their first world tour. No, not their first world tour. A world tour last year with their album. Now they're planning a second world tour with newer locations, including Europe, which is an audience that's not really tapped into.
Mm-hmm.
And so they're doing a lot, and they're hard workers. Everything that is, in
Yeah.
my opinion, I've been following them for since 2015. It's well deserved. But yeah, I think it's really crazy, and I think the fans are insane, and that's why I don't talk about
I'm
this to people.
like I'm really happy for them and I'm really proud of them and everything. I think it's just like the hipster in me that is like, now people want to act like they're huge freaking K-pop fans and whatever, and just be like
Yeah,
salty about it. But I mean,
and I
that's
mean a
just
lot.
me.
I think if you asked artists, because like the Chainsmokers, they're a decently sized group. Have done well in America.
Hmm.
They collabed on on the last BTS album and produced a song for with them. But I think if you asked them, are they fans of K-pop or are they fans of BTS, and I think they would say they're fans of BTS. And I think it's just something. It's the way that they
Yeah.
interact with their fans, and it's the way they interact with each other, and the stories they tell through their music, I think speak to just a wider audience.
Yeah.
And I think it was funny because there was a question at the Billboard. Someone told them, like, are there any other K-pop acts that you think would do well in America or that you hope will do well in America? And they said BTS. They didn't give anyone else's names, and I think it's because I don't think a lot of other groups would do well in America. It's just something about them.
Yeah.
And like other groups have toured in America. EXO is another really big group, but they're not as active socially as BTS is. They don't have a Twitter. They all have individual Instagrams that have a decent amount of followers, but most of the people who follow them are Korean people. And BTS will continue, and they have been continuing doing well in Korea because they're a Korean group. You know, they did just chart the Billboard 200 at #1, which is huge. They're the first K-pop group to do that. And I think they'll continue to do well in America. And beyond. You know, anything that they say that there is on their dream list, they're like, we want to be on the Billboard 100 and the Billboard 200. We want to win a Billboard and perform there. They have done it. And then this year when they were like, it asked, like, what's the next step? And one of the members said Grammys. And I think they'll definitely get there. I think they definitely will because of the crazy amount of popularity they have over here. And yeah, the hipster in me is like, okay, like, all right, we get it. Like the
just a little bit, but yeah, but I still am able to step back and be like, wow, I'm really proud of them. I'm just annoyed at people trying to be like huge off the wall like BTS fans because it's trendy.
Right, it's trendy. And that brings up my second point of what happened at the billboards. And you watch the other people, the other American, the American artists who were performing at the billboards. 90% of what was filmed was the actual performance. And maybe they had a few shots over to the audience, you know, to whoever was dancing to the performer. When BTS came, they were the second to last act, by the way. They were, like, pushing it, like, you know. It was a good 70%, where 70% of the performance was actually the fans, because there was a huge amount of fans there, them filming the fans, and then not the performance. And it was the world premiere performance for their new music video that they released the day before. It was a big deal for them to be performing that song at the billboards instead of in Korea on the Korean music shows. It was a big deal because, you know, but everyone, when I was, you know, reading through Twitter, I follow a lot of people who talk about this stuff, you know, they were like, it's kind of disrespectful that the American media is saying, like, hey, these are trendy, like, cute Korean guys, and they can sing and dance, and, you know, all this stuff, but their fans are insane, and they have so many Twitter followers, aha. And so that was the vibe we were getting from the Billboard performance and the way that it was filmed, compared to the other people who were performing that night. And they are really talented performers.
Yeah, they are.
And the work that they put into it, it did not deserve the kind of treatment they got at the billboards. And so I hope...
That's not right.
No, it's not. And it's a shame, really, because it was their first... Well, they performed at the American Music Awards last year, but the fact they performed at Billboard and won the second year in a row, they won the Top Social Artist Award at Billboard, it was kind of disappointing to see that was kind of the reaction and the way that
they made it like more about the fans than about the people. That's upsetting.
So I definitely share those kinds of things. I'm on the same field as you. I'm really proud of them and how far they've come, and I think they'll keep pushing themselves to do even greater things, and that all their dreams come true. I really hope so. But I hope that next year when they come back for award season, if they do, that they get better treatment. And actually there's been some drama going on over in Korea with the treatment they've been getting from Korean music shows. And that's a whole other different story. Just because of how big they've gotten, the Korean music shows are kind of like also mistreating them.
Yeah.
Because there's a huge business bias going on in there, and it's all about money. And, but they could potentially get blacklisted if they get if they call out these shows.
Yeah.
And the company could get blacklisted. And so if the company wanted to debut a different group, which there have been in talks of them debuting more groups, and then those groups couldn't perform on those shows and promote their music and get awards that way. And it would be a lot harder for them to be as big as BTS if that were the case. And so they just kind of been, the company can't say anything because they know they'll be blacklisted. And so, and it's happened before and to other companies and groups. So it's just bureaucracy, K-pop bureaucracy.
Yeah, man.
So anyway, yeah. I'm kind of I don't know how long we've actually been recording. How long does your recording say?
An hour and 2 minutes.
Oh, we have been. Wow. We talked about a lot.
We did.
We did. I think this was a pretty good episode.
I love our new rebranding as YouTube Drama Podcast.
Honestly,
and K-pop drama.
And K-pop drama. We're just a drama show about our two favorite things. Yeah, no, I'll definitely keep you updated, especially with all that shit going on in Korea. And, but yeah. Have you seen their new music video? I haven't sent it to you yet, have I?
No, I haven't watched it yet.
I kind of want, like, to see you watch it. Can we do that after we record?
I have to get going after we finish recording,
No,
but
okay.
Another time. Yeah. I'll save it
until save it for when we talk next. Anyway.
I will.
Yeah. Yes, thanks for listening. We don't have a new outro, so we both say bye at the same time like we used to.
Oh, yeah.
So yeah, thanks for listening. We'll be back. Maybe the next time we record will be... Oh, no. We'll record once... No. We'll record once together before I come and visit you, but then there will be a lot of content over the summer where we both are actually in the same room together because we're going to record before I go off to my summer job so I don't go crazy.
Yay!
Yay! And it'll be a huge sleepover and it'll be a lot of fun. And you'll make a video with me on your YouTube channel because I asked you to. And maybe you'll make one on mine.
Yay! Dun dun dun!
Because I've been thinking about that lately. So, but since you have to get going, I'll let you go. Thanks for listening, everyone. We'll see you next time. Bye!
Bye!